welcome to Encounters. Today we have Ty Davis with us, and he's going to talk about his journey into entrepreneurship. So, Ty, tell us the name of your business and what you do.
My my the name of my business is Ty Davis. Uh, Sorry about that. My the name of my business is Ty Davis Services.
Awesome. And what do you do?
I'm a ghostwriter, and I just added a peer support service element.
Awesome. That is
Business, should I say?
exciting news. Yes. Is that new this year?
Yes. As far as being under Ty Davis, I've been a peer support for the last year, but I just added it under Ty Davis Services umbrella this year.
Very good. Very good. So, there's a lesson in umbrellas. Keep it growing, right?
Keep it growing, yes. Um,
Yeah. Okay. So, when, and why did you start your business?
when and why did I start my business? I would say I started my business in 2018 when I wrote my first book, The Change Within Me. And then I waited to 2022. I published my second book, and I also became an LLC. Along the way, I found out when I was writing my second book that everybody had a story. So it became my mission to help other people share their stories because some people don't have the time to write a book. Some people don't even know how to start writing a book. And that's how my journey actually started. I actually just saw myself writing a book and becoming a New York bestselling author, but then I had a bigger vision that this wasn't just about me writing my books.
Mhm. Exactly. Yes, you've done a really good job with this. So, do you have a fascinating or a boring story you'd like to share with your startup?
I don't know if it's boring or fascinating, but I tell you, there's been times when I've been called into dark places where I might have been the only one sharing a inspirational poem. I don't want to say Christian because that could be put limiting, but I would say inspirational. While everybody might have been talking about death and selling drugs, I was the one giving life. And some people didn't understand why I was called to those places. And I share that because everybody won't understand our God given mission or our God given assignment, but we still have to have trust that personal relationship with God to go what He says, not what other people say. So there was one time I had just got done sharing. And that night, somebody had walked. Didn't nobody say too much to me, but this one person was like, "What church you go to?" And that was all the conversation I got because everybody else was sharing different things. So like later that night, I was like, Lord, did I do what you called me to do? And he kind of took me down through a checklist about joy, peace, and righteousness being the kingdom of God. And it said, did you have joy while you was there? I said, yeah. Did you have peace while you was there? And did you refrain from any sinful behavior? I said, yeah. He said, well, you did the mission that I gave you. And he said, now I want you to start helping other people share their stories. And that kind of took me for surprise because at first I just saw myself writing my own thoughts, not writing other people's thoughts and stories. So it just allowed me to just look beyond my own self.
Absolutely. I love that about you. That's just how we're supposed to do it. So tell me, how did you secure your startup capital for this business?
Well, actually, it was due to some donations and my own money. I've kind of through the years grown kind of good with managing my money. So it took some work, but also some people just seeing my vision. Now, as I plan to expand and scale my business, I am having to develop relationships with bankers. Uh, I'm a Create Campaign graduate of the Spark program, so that qualifies me to go to Create Campaign and possibly find some funding. I have a relationship with Mr. Wayne Bell at the SBA, so that could possibly guarantee maybe connect me with some funding. So I think it all just depends. We definitely got to be willing to invest in ourselves, because if we expect others to invest in us, definitely we have to be willing to invest in ourselves.
Absolutely. And it's about building relationships and thinking outside the box, when it comes to getting your startup capital or the capital you need to build forward. Absolutely. So what are some of your success stories? What worked well for you?
I think in my second book, being able to work with an editor that didn't align with my beliefs, but not use it as a limiting, because I actually asked my speaking coach I was working with at the time. He said this could be very beneficial for you, and it was, because I didn't want my second book to come off as preachy, and
Mhm.
working with someone who had maybe opposite beliefs than me kind of challenged me to be open to listening. And it even leads me today, being peer support, is that when I'm working with someone, I can't be focused on what I want, what I think. I gotta be willing to ask them questions to get them to open up, because it's their journey. So I think along the way, I've been able to develop relationship building, active listening. And I think no matter if we're in a marriage, business, or whatever, I think those skills is very important. I think also having faith, because sometimes God might give us assignment to do, and we're the only ones in our family, the first ones in our family to ever do it. And we can't allow other people to limit us. We serve a God that could do above all we could ask, think, or imagine. And I think we got to be willing to move out in faith.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's awesome. So how did you learn from any failures? I mean, I always call it failing forward. I never consider it a failure. I always consider it a learning experience. So do you have any of those stories you'd like to share?
Um, I would say not necessarily failing, but sometimes not seeing the results you expect. Because if you don't, if you keep going, it's not a failure. It's only a failure if you quit, right? But sometimes things
Absolutely.
don't move as fast as you would like, and you will definitely get discouraged. And
Mhm.
the devil can start talking to you and to call you a failure. And so there was times when I actually thought about not designing T-shirts anymore. And this is actually a shirt that I've designed: a master pain, rebuild the power.
Yeah,
Because the t-shirt sales wasn't going as I expected. Uh, when you write a book, you think it's going to be easy to become a New York bestseller. I'm not a New York bestseller yet, and I've been published for um, eight years. So some people can say that's a failure, but I'm looking at the future. The end hasn't came yet. So I would just encourage people to look at failure differently, because you only fail when you quit. There's always something to learn, and sometimes a closed door could just mean a change of direction.
absolutely. And I never considered a failure when your books have touched so many lives. Your
Amen.
books encourage people. They help people move forward where they might be giving up. They might be out of hope, out of rope. Your books encourage. I have never considered that a failure ever. So you just keep doing what you're doing. Absolutely. So how would you surprise us? Describe your support system. Is it made up of friends, families, partnerships, mentors? I mean, who supports you that you find as your main support circle?
Well, I have to say, my wife. Thank
Mm-hmm.
God for my wife. Definitely supportive, helped me. My family, just supportive from the distance I've come. Uh, you know, um, my mom and my dad, they're not together. My dad, he's a big supporter. We were just talking about next month will be 9 years I've been out of prison. He
Uh,
said, "Man, you came a long way." My mom, there was a time where she came to my event. She said, "Son, you're doing the thing, ain't you?" That's another thing. I never saw myself planning events. So we have to be open to pivot and do things that we, it might not be our idea, it might be God's
Mhm.
idea, but we gotta
Mhm.
be willing to accept that in line with it. Spiritually, my pastor, I've been very blessed to have spiritual mentors, Pastor Crowley, Pastor Marquis, and people like yourself, Miss Lee. Just people been in business for quite a long time. I could ask questions. You got marketing strategies. One thing I learned. I like to read. It's the book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and the reason it connects with writing because it says New York best selling. It doesn't say New York best writing. So you could be the
Mhm.
best writer you want to be, but you got to be able to sell. So sometimes it takes teamwork to make the dream work.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think you have found that and most entrepreneurs that have been seasoned in it realize they have to have that circle of people who can surround you and support you in one way or another. Just you just need that love and encouragement from other people to keep going. So, and I always say if everybody around you is negative, then you need to go get another room. You
Yes, yes. And you also don't want to be the smartest person in the room. If you're the smartest person in the room's too small, your circle's too small. I want to be able to come ask you, hey, I don't know. I need some help. Can you give me some advice? Can you give me some wisdom? And being willing to accept that and apply it to my journey.
Yes. And I'll just say I'm 70 years old and I still look to learn from other people.
Mhm.
I don't claim to know everything. So I just love that about you that you keep seeking and looking for information and learning. So that's awesome. So what words of encouragement do you have for someone who wants to start a business or who is just getting started in a business?
I would say, what's stopping you? Well, I put off for tomorrow what you could do today.
Mm-hmm.
Miles Monroe said the richest place on earth is the graveyard. There are so many people that are supposed to write a book, start a business, write a song, and unfortunately, they let time pass because tomorrow's not promised. So I said, my answer is a question: what's stopping you?
Yes, absolutely. Just go for it. I always say if you don't do what you always wanted, you're going to kick yourself later. You're going to say,
Yeah,
why didn't I? And so you're
yeah.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So, well, that's all time we have for today. So thank you so much, Ty, for stepping in today and speaking to us. And thanks for everybody watching. And Ty's contact information will be on the slide following this video. And it will be also in the description below. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Mhm.